some of it's mindset. How are we framing these things that we enjoy, even if we don't think we're being quote unquote productive or good enough, you know?
We've talked about this before, so I'm glad it's coming up. It's okay to have some simple joys in your life, because what else is all the work for if you can't enjoy yourself some of the time? It shouldn't be so much work to have a little bit of joy. Welcome back to In Residence. I'm Keith.
And I'm Laura.
Hey, Laura.
Hey, Keith.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well.
What's going on?
We've had, I think, a fairly busy week. One of the highlights for me was I played in a tennis tournament with Child 1. I haven't played tennis, 20 years competitively. I played a game here or there. I will say that my body doesn't necessarily want to do what my brain thinks it should do nowadays.
And what it used to be able to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you came to watch us yesterday.
Yep.
What did you think? Do I dare ask?
How do I answer that?
Carefully.
Looked like you were having fun out there.
We had fun.
It's good to watch you guys get out there and play together.
Yeah.
And see where you're at. Like, that's all it's about, right? Is you're just seeing where you're at. And I think we're all competitive in a way in our house.
I wanted to do better. Yeah. I really did.
But what you told me Child 1 said about how long he's actually been playing, right?
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So what did he say? And I was like, oh, that's really insightful.
So just to kind of paint the picture, after the tournament, Child 1 and I went to go pick up Dairy Queen for supper and to get some ice cream and just kind of as a family be able to hang out. And we were waiting in line. It's July in Wisconsin, so everyone's going to get the ice cream. And he goes, Mom, I've only played tennis for 4 months. I think I did pretty well. I think we did pretty well. And the thing he didn't say that I, in my head, was saying is, and I haven't played tennis pretty much in 20 years. And so we were kind of on these opposite ends where I used to play. I played in college and he's only played a short amount of time. But we're both at about the same place where we have some great shots. We have some things that we want to have happen that don't quite pan out the way we intended. Then we have some things we're like, oh, that was bad.
I think it's a very balanced view of it. There's things I want to work on and there's things I enjoy and I'm going to continue.
Right.
And find joy in it. Whereas I might have a tendency to be disappointed in like before times. But that still crops up when it comes to competition and I'm noticing it. So to see him have what I think is a healthy view of the situation, it's good because I don't want him to be down about not winning every game and set. It's like you get to play and you don't have to wait for like a tournament like this. I mean, luckily we found the tournament like, oh, fun, what a great opportunity. But what we've been finding out before that is you've been out 3, 4, 5 times on other weekends. And it's like, well, that's what it's about. And yeah, maybe we can find other people to play with if we want to. But if we just go to the courts, you can just play and have fun and get better. But if you make a mistake, it's not the worst thing.
Right. Like we actually did it. I will say for me, I wanted to be better. I think I wanted to be better for him.
Yeah.
And for me, it was really interesting because so I didn't sleep well the night before. So Friday night, I slept, but I woke up multiple times because I think I was this combination of excited, terrified, looking forward to it, and worried I was going to hurt my knee again.
Right.
So even though we didn't win the tournament, I do think I walked away and I said to you, I think it was last night, I said or maybe it was this morning, we had fun. I didn't hurt my knee. And now we know what we need to work on and what this tournament is like for next year.
Yeah.
That's one of those things where I thought, okay, I can do this. My hope is that I'll be able to play enough tennis to at least help him get practice to do what he wants to do with it. Like he wants to go to college, he said, for tennis. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, that's great. I love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that.
It's fun that you guys did it. Not that you can do it. You did it. And now you can do it again.
Yeah.
I didn't say this to you yet, but last night, I just sat around and watched. And I was going up and down and watching other people, seeing what the scores were. And when they might get done so that another match could get in, because we're delayed because of weather. So everything kind of got shifted. So I'm like, when are you guys going to get to play again?
Yeah, our first game was at 8 a.m. and our second game was at 7 p.m., right?
Yeah. So, I mean, we came home and we rested and kind of relaxed a little bit and got out of the heat. So I came home and I had, I'm going to wash the sunscreen off and cool off. And I was sitting there thinking, like, I should have signed up the amateur division. That would have been fun.
Like for the men's single?
Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I was like, okay. I didn't know I would feel that or think that. I never, like when you were signing up, I wasn't like, oh, sign me up for that.
Right.
It just wasn't a thought. It's been that long since I've done something like that. Maybe next year I can go out and make a spectacle of myself.
I was actually thinking next year, maybe I should sign up for the women's.
I think you should. And then we could be a mixed double.
Mixed doubles? Too. Yeah. I've never, I will say, even when I played all through high school and college, I never played in tournaments like this. I only played when the team was kind of in season or on our season.
Yeah.
I think it's great that Child One's coach has been encouraging him to really sign up for these things at other towns and saying, get out there, play. And we saw one of his coaches, and it was after our first match, and we lost badly. I mean, I don't even think we had lots of points. Granted, to my defense, in our defense, I think we did play a former tennis coach.
Yeah.
And his daughter. And so they were quite the rival, I will say. And they were going easy on us.
They were really nice too.
They were so nice. It was still a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, you're way better than you're actually. They were taking it easy on us, but won very convincingly. But Child One's coach from this past spring said, because we told him that we had lost, and he goes, but the main thing is you're getting out there and you're having fun. You're playing tennis, and that's a great day if you can get out, play tennis, and have some fun. I thought that was a really good perspective.
Yeah, I agree.
You might not always win, but you can have fun. Is there anything else that happened this week do you want to talk about?
For me, the only thing that really was like the main thing of my last week was that I wasn't feeling well. And I was unwell, but I wasn't sick. It felt like it was weird. Like I was lethargic. I had kind of a sore throat. I just didn't have a whole lot of energy. My biggest takeaway was being okay with taking it easy in the face of me feeling guilty about it, because I didn't feel that bad. I just wasn't well. And it's weird. It's a weird feeling for me. I'm used to, when I'm sick, I'm used to feeling really bad. And
sorry, yes.
Yeah. And
yes,
I get like the man flu, right?
Witness that.
Yeah,
yes.
It's not great. Like no one's ever been as sick as me.
Well, I don't know if I even told you this. I told people at work, it's like, so Keith is starting to come down with what I had. And boy, do I hope he doesn't get it.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is, you'd
all be better off getting a hotel room away from me just to not be around me when I'm that sick. And luckily, I didn't get as sick as you were.
No.
So my point is it was harder taking it easy and being okay with taking it easy. I skipped my training sessions because I just knew I couldn't do it. And I missed it a lot more than I thought, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And so
that is good.
I missed my routine. I missed being able to do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. But I was happy that I found a way to simply be okay with taking it easy and taking breaks. That was all I really had going on. So
well, I think that's a good example of listening to your body, to yourself, and responding. And I'm not trying to bring it back to tennis, but it's similar to some of the things I was thinking about yesterday during the tournament. There were some shots that 20 years ago, I would have sprinted over and taken that shot and done a backhand right up the alley. I knew that if I did that, that might have been the last sprint that I did because of my knee.
Yeah, you could blow your knee out, or you don't know. Like,
and so there's a few, if Child One didn't get the volley, I definitely did need to be like, okay, good shot. I guess I'm just trying to say you were in tune with what your body needed, and that's good, right?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't quite say I was in tune, but I'm trying to get there. Like, I knew I needed rest, and I knew I needed to take it easy, but I wish I didn't feel guilty about it,
Sure.
or like I have to explain it, because it's a weird feeling to say, like, I don't think I can quite do this one thing that we all know I ought to be able to do, especially because I don't look, act, and feel as bad as I actually do. You know what I mean? Like
I do know
I
what you
wasn't
mean.
exhibiting symptoms. The exhibiting symptoms didn't match with how I was feeling. Sometimes I would feel fine, and then all of a sudden I'd get up and I'd move around, and then I'm like, oh, I don't feel great. I'm like, okay, time for a break. So there's something there about like what I expect, what I think other people expect, and trying to balance all of that and take care of myself.
And what that makes me think about the last couple times I've been sick, I actually have worked through it for the most part.
Like work.
Work.
Yeah.
And so when I had this cold, I mean, it was not great.
I was just counting the hours until
You're
I was
just
going
like,
to start
oh,
feeling that way.
geez. No, it was not good. It like rested in my lungs. Like it was bad. And because we have remote work, I was able to remote in, but I felt terrible the whole time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because somebody said, you better show up. It was more that internal guilt of, well, I can remote in. What's it going to look like if I have to reschedule all these? My calendar doesn't allow me the space to probably absorb all of this in a different way. I don't think I told you this, and not that it matters, but for our time card, if you didn't take leave in a month, you have to actually say no leave taken. I got like a warning last week at the end of the week saying, hey, you didn't submit your time. And I'm like, I thought I had a sick day that I had taken and I would have recorded that.
Yeah.
And then I looked at everything. I'm like, oh, I was sick. I didn't take any time for it because I worked every single day. And and so it was one of those, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
what's that? And again, no one made me do it, but I just kept going because I would feel too guilty if I didn't.
Like we talked about a while ago, that self-care is the first thing to go when you need it the most sometimes.
Yeah.
And I responded a little differently than you this time. It was possible for me to respond differently, and I was still feeling guilty. And you responded differently to that kind of similar feeling. You got through it, but
did it take longer? I still have a lingering cough. Is it taking longer?
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't really put that together.
Well, and I'm not telling you, well, why couldn't you just push through and do your stuff, Keith? It was more what made me push through and do that. Somebody actually told me last week, I sure hope you didn't feel as bad as you sounded. And I go, oh, I did. And they're like, but I'm like, but that's not good either.
No.
Because thinking about it, what sort of message does that send to people I work with? That although I'm home and I'm not exposing you to what I have,
still working.
I'm still working.
Yeah.
And now that's your expectation.
Yeah. And that's not the precedent you're looking to set.
No, I'm not at all. Not at all. And so, I mean, that's a little bit of, I should have done what you did if I think about it. Right?
Yeah. That's funny because you probably felt worse than you sounded. And I think I felt worse than I sounded. It's like some weird cold, right?
Just a summer cold.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Anyway. Get off the sick train.
Oh, okay. We can do that. We commiserated enough.
That's just what's been going on with us.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay. So one thing that you've been getting into lately that I will say brings me a little joy because you seem happy when you're doing it.
Okay.
Has been playing video games downstairs.
Oh, great.
No.
Video game.
No, a video game. But you're downstairs and I'm puzzling at my puzzling table and
Oh, that's kind of why I started doing it.
right?
Because you were like, I'm going to puzzle. All right, I'm going to sit here and play this game that I don't think needs a lot of my attention.
Right.
I'm playing a racing game.
Yeah.
I'm just running laps.
Yeah. And like every once in a while, I look up, I'm like, oh, look, you're on the podium.
Yeah.
Did you get first again? You're like, yeah.
Well, I mean, I changed the settings. Like, that's the type of game I want. I'm like, I'm not here to challenge myself. I'm here to almost meditate and just enjoy going around the track.
Round and round you go.
Okay. I had no idea you were going to bring that up. Okay. What's going on?
kind of pulling together some of the different pieces that we're talking about. And maybe it's not as big of a theme as I'm thinking right now. Like tennis. I haven't played tennis in how many years, but yet I went and I did it.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing video games as I'm puzzling for me too. But video games, you really haven't played a lot of video games recently, but you kind of got back into it, but it seems like you enjoy it.
Yeah, it's like leisurely enjoy it. Like I'm not a gamer. I
Right.
played video games growing up, but not as much as it's like for me it's like playing a board game.
Yeah.
You know, it's a sometimes you do this and it's fun and then you go and do something else.
Yeah. So we have these things we've done in the past that we enjoyed. And now we're how many years forward and we're revisiting them in a way.
That's a good point and a good thing to think about. Yeah, that's something I kind of talk about when I'm doing my personal training and thinking
Okay.
of those goals, like whether it's my nutrition, my activity level, increasing my strength, right? I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I know what works. I know what has worked. And I stop looking for the next new bright, shiny thing that might help me hack my way to my goal. And can I simply do the things I know work and that have worked?
Right.
Like puzzling helps you de-stress and
Yep.
is a fun activity for you as well, right?
Right.
The video games, I can take it or leave it kind of. And I just kind of go through these seasons where it's fun. But it is a simple joy to be able to, like with you, I play so that I'm keeping myself busy while you're thinking and you're processing while you're puzzling. And then
Yeah,
I'm
that
just
is what I
I'm
do.
available, but not just sitting there twiddling my thumbs because you get quiet, and which is
I do. You've experienced
unsettling.
a lot of that this week.
Very unsettling to me because you're not usually quiet.
Right.
And so when you're quiet, I'm usually in trouble.
Oh,
That's the association.
Sometimes.
No, I know. And so that's kind of how that popped up. And I could grab a book, but the other thing with the video game is and why it's like on an easy setting and I'm just doing it, that I can listen to audio.
Yeah.
Books or some courses or podcasts. I can just listen to something. And for some reason, the audio, I like to be doing something else while I'm doing it.
Sure.
Talked about that. Whereas like a book and reading, I think I would kind of tune out in the area and I would go into the book fully. Whereas listening to a podcast and playing the game, it's more like I can pause at any time and just be like, yeah, let's talk.
Sure.
But it's joyful though.
Yeah.
I don't really think of that. But then my brain actually goes to like, I bet I could probably find something better use of my time. And isn't that so silly of me to almost always do that and put that pressure on me of being productive? I mean, that's part of the reason I like to listen to things is because I can be productive.
Sure.
But now I'm listening to something. I'm not really being productive. I'm playing a game that has really no stakes except for what I give it. And if I don't get first place, I can feel bad, but there's no reason. It's all virtual.
When we're sitting there and I'm puzzling and you're playing, there are sometimes you're like, okay, talk, what's going on? I'm working through stuff and you're like, no, but like, tell me what's going on. I think it must be that where you're feeling guilty doing what you're doing if I'm not speaking because you think that that's preventing me from talking.
Yeah, I think that's
not.
I think it's getting better.
Yeah.
And that might be tapping into the part of me that wants to feel useful.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. But I can also simply be, but not quite simply. I'm playing a video game. I'm not really being. I'm not being a monk meditating. So I'm not trying to be delusional about me just simply being and flowing with the water, which I could work on that too.
Yeah. Sitting without technology, without distractions. That's hard.
I've literally been thinking of that the last like 72 hours.
Okay.
And I'm not, people like doing a detox or whatever, right?
Yeah.
They might call it, or quitting social media. I think I've quit social media.
Okay.
In a way. I simply have tailored it to be useful for me and what I want, but let's not kid ourselves. I still find myself scrolling sometimes.
Sure.
But so my goal is to not do that. And it's more of use it as an encyclopedia.
Right.
I tend to spend more time on YouTube because I'm looking for information of how to do something that's helpful for me versus filling my time. Or I find the bands that I like and watch a video So a lot of the other social media that's more about grabbing my attention, I don't use it. I use it more like a Google search, which YouTube is. It's just for video. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just how I tend to do it. What?
You know what I've gotten stuck on?
Doing your games? Wordle?
Oh, no, that too. But in particular, Facebook.
Really? Every time I go, it's nothing but, it's not even people I know. It's just ads. So I'm
Yeah, well, that too.
they're telling me they don't want me on there. The only
They're
reason
telling you they want to sell stuff.
right, but the only reason I ever went on there was to connect with people that I lost touch with.
Sure.
But I don't go on there.
So the thing I have gotten stuck on, I mean, I like to see what people, like people's updates and things like that. Love it. But where I get stuck is, I think is it Reels?
Yeah, because they're connected to Instagram.
And there's all these different Reels, but I start going through them. You can tell me what I must consume. Taylor Swift videos. Does that make you laugh?
Couples being funny. Or is that Instagram?
No, that's Instagram.
Okay.
Taylor Swift videos. Some guy that freezes stuff in balloons, and then he, little by little, gets to the frozen part of the balloon and then smashes it with something. And he goes, oh. For some reason, I have lots of those videos. I have videos of people dancing.
If the habits of a tween.
I must. The other big one is this one lady, and she does different wedding dresses that are certain styles. So Star Wars wedding dresses, Disney princesses wedding dresses. So like on social, I get distracted by watching these reels, and I actually cut myself off. I go, okay, once you get to the last one, you have to stop.
How many is the last one?
Probably 6.
Oh, geez.
But then I want to watch more. It's bad. You're right. Funny couples, I think it is in there too.
Like they know what our brains feed on, and it's designed. Yeah. So don't do it.
Oh, it's so hard though, because they're so good.
They're not.
You sure?
Yeah,
you should see some of the stuff I watch. The guy with the balloon.
Okay, now compare that to like Ted Lasso or some of the shows that we actually watch, that we pay to watch.
All right, that's pretty good. Those are really, really good.
Take all the time that you have used on this free content that's really providing nothing but a little bit of entertainment, and then all of a sudden you realize like, oh, what was I doing for the last hour? Uh-oh.
I normally don't spend an hour. I normally get through all the videos, and I'm like, all right.
It adds up though.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And yeah, I'm preaching here, and I'm telling myself. I'm not trying to scold you or like,
no, I know you're not.
Tell you. It's more of like, oh, this is just highlighting the fact that I probably waste more time than I would like. Like if I did a review of the time I spent on some platforms, I would probably be like, oh, you don't just go to YouTube because it helps you. You're on TikTok. You went on Instagram. You did go on Facebook. Those 30 seconds multiplied, that adds up.
Right.
And what's it for?
Right. That's fair.
Anyway, I think part of me feels like I could use my time better than playing video games or being on social media. Right.
It's fair.
At the same time, where's the balance? If I'm always feeling like I need to go.
Yeah. That's like baked into you, that go.
Yeah. But it's more of like, okay, how about I aim at something else and go to that?
Sure.
Like signing up for a tennis tournament.
Yeah.
Or going to the park and setting up bocce ball or some other kind of game. Like we're going to go to a concert next weekend.
Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. Who's playing again?
Red Hot Chili Peppers. Some other people too. I can't remember it all.
I know quite a few people that are going.
I grew up going to festivals, so I can get into it. But we're bringing both of the kids, and I don't think.
Do we need to drive separately?
Maybe. I don't think we've set up the expectations of what it's going to be, and so we maybe have to have that conversation this week of like, this is a full day festival. Let's discuss and all be on the same page about when we're going and what it's maybe going to be like, but they've been to like Disney World and stuff, so they kind of know what an all day excursion kind of can be. Yeah,
we might have to adjust our wake up times. We have some like wake up at noon going on in this house.
Yeah. So anyway, what was I saying? I get maybe I'm just thinking. I'm probably overthinking, and maybe it would serve me better to, yes, think about what are like the fun leisurely things that balance out the work.
Yeah.
And maybe I can elevate some of the things I do and also be okay with like, a simple pleasure, playing a video game every now and then, like, what's the big deal?
Right.
Everything in moderation kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, sometimes the playing is seen as something that is not useful. I was saying to my dad, I think might have been when they were over for the 4th. Child 1 was playing piano for them, and I had a puzzle out. It was a brewer's puzzle. I was sitting there, I'm like, oh, I'll just do some puzzle pieces as they're all kind of around listening to him. And he came back and he goes, how on earth do you find time to puzzle? And in my head, I thought, I have to puzzle because it is part of my centering for helping me work through things, to de-stress, to find some joy. We so quickly as humans put those joys into the category of not productive, right? Or that's the first thing to go, as kind of you were saying, right? Some of those things are the first to go. I don't think I told you that.
No, I just realized that me playing a video game, I used to play video games growing up.
Yeah.
And I would put my mom's records on.
Oh, really?
If she wasn't around.
Oh, I love that.
And I would like sneak and, gotta be careful not to break the needle, but I'd pull out Neil Young After the Gold Rush or Led Zeppelin 1, 2, 3, whatever.
What was your favorite record to sneak?
There was a big period of time where it was Neil Young After the Gold Rush.
Okay.
Any one of the Led Zeppelin records and Aerosmith Toys in the Attic.
Cool.
Always playing those.
Did you put them back so she didn't know?
She didn't know.
Okay.
She went, yeah. Oh no, I knew where the records were in the stack. On the shelf, I knew where the records had to go back to. I bookmarked it, so I knew. I'm sly like that. I don't want to get busted. So that's like what I'm doing now is something that I did when I was younger.
Right.
To enjoy things. And like, why would I allow myself to feel guilty for that? And I realized that I do those things while I'm doing dishes and laundry to help me get through it. Right. And it would help me get through other types of like manual labor.
Sure.
But I would lose the part of it that was simply just a joy. Hadn't thought of that. So I'm going to hold that so that I maybe don't feel, I don't want to replace the joy of listening to something and having it be part of a chore. Like, it's helpful. It helps me get through the work. But if it's all I'm doing versus being able to enjoy what I'm listening to and enjoy the activity I'm doing, like on a different level, because I do enjoy getting things done for us in the house and, it's just part of life. But it's not the same as being chill and relaxed and having a beverage and just hanging out.
Right.
And you used to puzzle when you were little.
I did.
And listen to music. We talked about that.
And listening to music. But even, like, I'm thinking playing tennis, right? I used to enjoy, I think we talked on here. I used to go and take a big bucket of balls up and just practice serves all afternoon. I loved it. I hit tennis ball against my parents' garage. They had a house where you could hit it on the roof and it would just come down in some random way. And so you could really practice against the different garage doors. Their garage had like lots of tiny little tennis ball scuffs. Anyway, going to the tennis tournament brought back memories to me. But say I went into it or we went into it, we have to win or all of this is just terrible. It's kind of like that idea or that mindset that you could take with video games and things you enjoy of saying, unless I'm being productive, this is all crap. Can I say crap?
Yeah.
My mom says it's not a swear word. It's okay.
You've said a lot worse things on here.
That's true. Some of it's mindset. How are we framing these things that we enjoy, even if we don't think we're being quote unquote productive or good enough, We've
talked about this before, so I'm glad it's coming up. It's okay to have some simple joys in your life, because what else is all the work for if you can't enjoy yourself some of the time? It shouldn't be so much work to have a little bit of joy. I don't have to be so hard on myself, like taking a little time for like some happiness and like just a little bit of leisure time, Right.
Well, and one of the things that I think about quite a bit, what are our goals and where are we headed? I really like thinking about the future and ideating about it. And so what does future Laura, what is she doing when she's arrived to what it is she thinks she's going to achieve? What is it that she is doing? Oftentimes I'm thinking, okay, so she is hanging out with family. She's puzzling, drinking tea. I don't know why drinking tea, but she's drinking tea.
It's warm and delicious.
Which is pretty dang good. I have a great tea recommendation. I don't need to share it on here because it's not sponsored.
Okay.
But oh my goodness, I found a really great tea company. And it's just that sort of thing. And she's taking weekends to get up, drink a cup of coffee, read. So the thing that I keep thinking about and challenging myself is, so that's future Laura. What is stopping me from doing those things now?
Exactly.
Why can't I get up and have coffee and read, which I did today, by the way, win for a Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
I can do those things.
Yeah. Design the life that you want. Take the steps now. Like, it's great having goals and knowing that you're maybe not where you want to be, but you don't have to wait for some certain light bulb to go off to start.
Right.
Start making the decisions now and the choices now that get you closer and closer every day.
But not even starting. I mean, I think that's important. But also, why aren't you living the life that you see for yourself in the future today? Granted, if your life in the future is to take a trip to Bali and we aren't making the money
Yeah.
to book airline tickets and a hotel in Bali, don't do that. But there are certain things that you can do that can just incorporate into your daily life. For example, if I want to make sure that I'm playing tennis with child one, I should simply make time to play tennis with child one.
Yeah. Stop waiting for the right time
Yeah.
is maybe what I was trying to say.
No, I think, yeah, it makes sense.
Even if your idea of going and playing tennis means we go to the courts and we're there for 2 hours, the first time, maybe like when he was little, you go for 30 minutes. And
Oh, yeah, that didn't work.
right, 20 minutes of that is getting in and out of the car.
I did make them run the lines when they were little just to wear them out so they'd sleep well.
Yeah.
Like, okay, every line. Do you have to do those in hockey?
Yeah. We did lots of conditioning.
So did we in tennis.
Maybe that's another simple joy to go back to, is a
Conditioning?
little more conditioning for me.
Oh gosh, I hated it though.
It's good for you.
It is good for me, but oh,
I didn't mean good
touching
for
all those
you.
lines.
I meant for as in the royal all of us.
It's good for the team, right? The more condition you have, the longer you can go.
Yep. All right. Anything else?
I don't think so. I mean, I think what we're getting to is really that idea of we need to make time for those simple joys and not wait for it to be perfect. We just need to go ahead and bring joy into our life.
Totally agree. All right. Do you have any recommendations before we go?
Okay. I've been listening to the book A World Without Work by Daniel Susskind. And so it's all about AI and automation and how there is still room for technology and humans in the future and how they work together. I've really been enjoying that, but I have some more to go. That's what I've been listening to.
Cool. What's your favorite kind of tea flavor right now?
Oh gosh. Mango tea. So I've been trying to find things that are decaffeinated. There's a mango madness that I really, really love. And it's really good hot as well as cold. Do you have a favorite tea flavor?
Green tea.
All right. Okay.
I'm pretty simple.
That's good. I like the mango madness or the blueberry sunrise. That one was okay.
I feel like that's what you make. And I walk in the house and I'm like, who's making blueberry muffins?
No, that's my coffee. I love flavored coffee.
I'm like, oh, I want
It
a
brings joy
blueberry
to my
muffin
morning.
so bad.
So good. Or like there's one that's like a decaf peanut butter cookie. Have you smelled that one? Oh my goodness.
Okay. I don't know if I have any recommendations.
You don't? Okay.
Obviously, like this whole episode is a recommendation to get in tune with some of the simple joys in your life and maybe pick a couple and explore them.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of here.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. I love you so much.
I love you too.
Good. Right now I have a peach iced tea. I brewed some peach tea yesterday.
All right.
Tasty.